All right, Ronan, why don't you get us started with just Tokyo Colony 1? Any character in Tokyo Colony 1, throwing them up against Toji.
So to start it real easy, I mean, I feel like we can put Toji up against Reggie. Out of all of the characters that are at least notable that we can put Toji up against, I feel like Reggie is the one that requires the least amount of interpretation or really, really just scaling that is all that difficult. Reggie was fighting Megami. He lost. Toji was fighting Megami. Megami did not think there was any version of himself at the time that could win. I feel like against him, this is like there are very few, I think, requirements necessary to even get someone to understand that Toji absolutely obliterates Reggie. Reggie kind of just relies on a mix of close quarters combat and his receipt curse technique, neither of which being all that pressing against someone like Toji. I mean, we see, especially in the anime, Toji is even more overbearing. You know, those big trucks that Reggie sent Megami's way, and that was like one of his big attacks on top of the house or whatever. Toji kicked one of those things casually at him in Shibuya in the anime adaptation. And it's like, when we're looking at the scale of these characters, it's just really embarrassing. Toji's pulling up, he's blitzing him, and then he's just one-shotting him. No curse tools needed, no special treatment. Like, there is no version of Toji or any version of Reggie in which I feel like what you need to be talking about is any deeper than that. It is, simply put, the most basic bare bones way that this fight will go.
Wow. I mean, I can't say anything else. You pretty much summed it up
Nah, bro,
perfectly.
defend Reggie, bro. Defend Reggie. Get
I'm
in his
not
corner.
defending Reggie. I won't be the guy to defend Reggie Star. But yeah, I mean, so if Reggie's getting beat. Even if Reggie, no curse tools involved. Even if Reggie comes back as a vengeful curse spirit, he's getting packed up again just with curse tools this time. There's really no issue with him. Next, just talk about Higuruma. Higuruma is underrated in my opinion, at least. I mean, 2 weeks became a grade 1 level sorcerer. He's got the standard domain with his technique, which is pretty much unseen in today's sorcerers aside from just Hikari. This is a domain where Tengen hypes up, like back in the hand era. Sorcerers used to have domains like this where the domain just forces you to obey the rules of the domain instead of having some crazy lethal sure hit attack. And like I said, the only people to have a domain like this currently are like Mio, the sumo wrestler, Hikari, and Higuruma himself. So he's got this great domain. This would be, if it happened on Toji, the second easiest death penalty that he's ever gotten, because Toji is just a horrible guy. But sadly to say, it just won't work. Nothing that Higuruma has that actually makes him special and strong will get over on Toji. He's completely immune to domain expansions.
Toji wouldn't even get caught in the domain to start. If he wanted to, he could just shatter it from outside, avoid all these problems altogether. But in the case that he does get caught, right? Like, you can give Higuruma basically every good scenario and it doesn't matter. Say for some reason, Toji's heavenly restriction ain't working properly. He is able to be registered by the domain. He is given like the death penalty and confiscation. Oh no, he loses his curse tools. Oh no, Higuruma gets Executioner's Blade. It's just going to be a version of what we saw against Sukuna, where it's just going to be some guy that's like infinitely slower than his target, really trying to get off this one shot, whereas Toji is just going to be significantly faster. He has precog, and then he also is just in base really, really strong. Higuruma has RCT now, so I guess that's cool. But even the other ability that he picked up, being Domain Amplification, has no utility against someone like Toji. It doesn't matter. It isn't a factor in this case. Even if you give Higuruma all of the things that do make him strong, you do say that the domain works. You do say that he takes away Toji's arsenal. You do say that he does get an Executioner's Blade. I think that he is still facing, to downplay it, a lot of trouble from Toji. And that is in the best case scenario, a scenario in which, based on the power system, would never come to pass.
Yeah, I mean, Higuruma couldn't even land a hit on Yuji with the gavel. And then Yuji, no cursed energy, by the way, Yuji lands a hit on Higuruma's gut and he's like almost throwing up from it. You talk about like Yuji with cursed energies barely keeping up with Maki versus Sukuna. Like Sukuna's consistently calling him boring and trash and just pushing him out the way, never lands a hit on him. It's just like it's no contest throwing Toji up against someone like Higuruma. And a similar thing follows with the next person, regardless of what you might generally think when you think about this matchup. Takaba did do well in his fight with Kenjaku. However, I think that at some point in the fight with Kenjaku sort of got lost in the sauce, if you will. He was figuring out Higuruma's technique, and then he never opens his domain expansion, and he stops doing the ways around it that he had originally found. So not only can someone like Toji kind of see through curse techniques with his curse resistance, like how Maki did with Naoya in their first fight, if he does that with Takaba, he could just stab him with the inverted spear of heaven, and then Takaba's whole shtick is just up. There's no way for him to revert that damage or make that not work because his curse technique is off. His curse technique is what makes him so powerful in the first place. And stat-wise, is Takaba even all that impressive? I don't think so. I think it's
no stat-wise. Takaba like ramps up his cursed energy in Tokyo Colony 1, drop kicks Hazanoki, and Hazanoki's chilling. Like Hazanoki's fine. He's just okay. I'll put it like this, right? Regie's fight with Megumi goes on for about as long as Takaba's interaction with Hazanoki, and you can say that, oh, Takaba's just not the type of character to go for the kill. Sure, but he's the same Takaba that'll be fighting against Toji. And if you're telling me Hazanoki can fight against him for a decent amount of time before realizing, oh shit, the dude I was fighting for is gone. All right, whatever. I'm not even interested in this anymore. There's no way that Toji, one of the more shrewd characters in the entire series, won't have downloaded that technique. And let's say he can't download it, right? Let's say he doesn't understand it. Maybe Toji's just not into comedy. He doesn't understand. He's not comprehending. That's fine. He doesn't need to get it to know that inverted spear of heaven is a great answer for it. And one thing that I think doesn't come up with Takaba, and I personally believe makes people not necessarily overrate him, because his curse technique in question, as the narrator says, has the potential to allow him to affect even Gojo, right? And that's impressive, that's cool, that's whatever. But one thing that's sort of a weakness for Takaba is just a character that goes for an instantly lethal attack. I think in every instance we've seen Takaba start off a fight, say, for example, when Sukuna summons Nue and strikes down lightning on Maki and Takaba, the reason that Takaba survives is not because he's more durable or that he uses the comedian to avoid damage. He gets hit, and I think he loses like part of his limbs or whatever in the volume redraws. Yeah, he loses his limbs. Like Nue's casual random electric attack just bullies and bodies him, right? The reason he survives is because it didn't hit him in a way that would instantly kill him. Versus Kenjaku, he uses a random assortment of curses, swarms them on Takaba, and Takaba like just splatters in blood. Once again, the reason he doesn't die is because the technique itself wasn't intended to instantly one-shot him. I mean, Kenjaku used, at least the way I perceive it, uses a similar level of like force on Takaba in that instance as he did on Choso in the Tengen interaction. Like, this is the lowest of the low curses, just amplified by his cursed energy. It's very, very weak, and Choso had a more durable reaction to it off rip than Takaba did. I think if you say, okay, you know, fine, Toji's getting caught in the loop, for some reason he doesn't want to use inverted spear of heaven or whatever, he just pulls out soul split. He's like, all right, let's stop fucking around, and he just blitzes and then just cuts his head off with bypass durability, if you were to say Takaba is durable enough to survive it anyway, and then you just instantly disconnect the thing that allows him to use his curse technique from the rest of his body. I think in an instance where you are fast enough and strong enough to overwhelm Takaba very quickly beyond his curse technique activation speed, you very easily have an answer. And even if you don't agree with that interpretation, like we said, Toji is literally equipped with anti-curse technique knife. It doesn't really get simpler than that.
Yeah, and just to add to it about Kenjaku and Choso, when Kenjaku first notices Takaba, he's just like, oh yeah, this guy's nothing. Then he tosses those curses at him. And I get like Takaba's curse technique is formidable, I think the only reason Kenjaku is not using his domain on Takaba, because domains just nullify curse techniques, it would take away whatever he's doing to avoid hits and whatever, right? I think the reason he's not using his domain on Takaba in order to just, immediately dismiss this guy is because of the chance that Maki or Yuta could show up, people we know he's specifically looking out for, they could show up out of nowhere, like kind of like what happened, and then he's cooked. Like he already got cooked when Yuta showed up out of nowhere with his curse technique, and I imagine if that was just down, he would have got cooked even harder. So I mean, yeah, it's really no contest. Takaba, he's really strong when he has the comedian. If he doesn't have the comedian, like he won against Toji, he's not that formidable of a fighter.
Yeah, 100%.
But I mean that's pretty much it for Tokyo Colony number 1. Everyone else in Tokyo Colony number 1 is weaker than these guys, and seemingly by a pretty significant margin. So Toji obviously would just pack them up as well.
What about Hazanoki and Remy? How do they fare? It's like, all right, bro, well, come on. We talked about the heavy hitters in this colony. I promise you, anybody else that you're bringing up, they're getting cooked too.
Remy got tased. Like, come on. So, Tokyo Colony number 2. There is a strong guy in this area, but the first guy we're going to talk about is Charles, because Charles sucks. The only reason I even want to talk about or bring up Charles is just because he fought against Hikari, and he happened to give Hikari a little bit of trouble until Hikari figured out, oh well, he can see where I'm coming from. Let me just move from where he can see, and that's the easiest counter to a technique of all time.
Move out of his line of sight, because it's crazy. It was just like, oh, you see into the future, but you don't see into the future from like a third person perspective. You see from your POV. So yeah, I just move behind you and attack. I'm gonna be real. Okay, obvious thing is obvious. Toji just bullies him and obliterates before he even gets a hit landed on him. Toji doesn't seem like the kind of guy that is willing to let techniques show their full potential, because he just seems wary. I mean, even Geto, he looks at his like, oh god, you're fodder, right? He's like, I'm not sure I want however many cursed spirits you have coming out, even though realistically speaking, if Geto had a cursed spirit strong enough to beat Toji, he would have brought it out to fight Toji. He's just being very cautious, and he doesn't want to do any extra work that he doesn't have to. So I don't think there's a scenario in which Charles is landing the initial blow required with G Ward's staff to even start up the technique. But how many times, like how many seconds into the future do you think Charles has to see before it starts to become even? Because I'm thinking like it's gotta be like 30 seconds to a minute.
30 to a minute? No, that's crazy.
He needs an ad break of difference, bro. I don't know, because his
it has to be a significant amount of time.
Suck. His physical feats are garbage.
Because I didn't even mention, like, Hikari figures this way around Charles' curse technique easy. Like Toji does the same thing, cuts him with a soul split katana. That's if Charles lands a hit on him. This is base Hikari I'm talking about. This isn't even Hikari. This is Hikari who he hit Yuji 3 times and Yuji just got back up. Like this isn't even Hikari where Yuta's like, oh, he's stronger than me, Cap, by the way. But this is base form Hikari doing this to Charles. Maybe it is 30 seconds to a minute. Maybe
this
it is a
hands
whole
in the pocket.
Break.
This is hands in the pocket Hikari dodging his pre-technique attacks, by the way. He oh my god, bro. I'm rereading the fight and Charles sucks. He almost gets blitzed by base Hikari with the 1 second in the future. He's looking at Hikari's speed. He's like, oh my god, he's fast. And it's like, dude, base Hikari? Are you serious? There's no way. How are you getting perception blitz with a second of future sight by base Hikari? Then he gets 2 seconds in the future and he's like, oh my god, and he can't stop the domain expansion. Yeah, bro. Go ahead and take those 30 seconds into the future, man. And the funny thing is I think because Toji is so durable, there isn't a scenario in which, even if he's fast enough to react and start using attacks in advance, there's just a point in which Toji just like, all right, I'll just I'll just get hit by whatever you're doing, grab onto you, and then just take your head off, because it's really not that deep. It's really not that serious. Yeah, Toji absolutely obliterates. Charles has a technique that would be really good for anybody with any level of good physicals, because hands in the pocket Hikari dodging a majority of your attacks, holy, well, yeah, no.
Yeah, like
yeah,
this technique.
bad.
This technique is one that needed to be given to Yuta. Because what is Charles doing with this one? Now,
Yeah,
on to
not.
people who are actually worth talking about. Kashimo. Kashimo. Okay, let's get one thing established. Kashimo's not using his curse technique. We're throwing Toji into the Culling games, right? In the Culling games, Kashimo is not using his curse technique unless he fights Sukuna. Now, I think that it's a little bit unfair, but at the same time, that's just what he would do in character, right?
He'd rather die than use it in another, like, because Akari's willing to kill him, or he thinks he is. He's just like, all right, bro, I'm not using my technique, even if he wanted to. He didn't have the cursed energy for it, but I'm not using my technique. Go ahead and just kill me, bro. It's not that deep. Appreciate you. Nice fight. I'll see you in the afterlife. So it's not. It wouldn't even come down to, oh, this guy's so strong, I have to use it. He will not. He just won't.
Yeah. He would literally rather blow up and expend all his cursed energy than use his cursed technique on someone else. So, actually, yeah, no, I take it back. It is fair. It is fair to say. So now, Kashimo, he's strong, but I think something that a lot of people overlook about Kashimo is that Hikari was holding back on him a lot in their fight. So it's a bit towards the end of the second round where Hikari's like, you know what, I'm gonna start cutting loose. I'm gonna go hard on this guy. And the minute he does that, he just lands 3 punches on Kashimo. 1 to the face, 2 to the chest. Kashimo tries to come in for another attack. Hikari parries. Like, when Hikari starts going all out on Kashimo, Kashimo never lands another hit on Hikari. Not until he gets the return stroke of his lightning from his rod that's across the field, and he hits Hikari whenever the round ends. Now, it's important to bring something like that up because Kashimo's whole plan in the fight, where he's throwing off these big attacks and big techniques with his lightning bolt. So Hikari didn't know that Kashimo can't just do that. Like, there's a little bit of a charge before he can throw something like that off. Someone like Toji, who in character, like Ronan mentioned earlier, he doesn't like to go through a lot of trouble to do things. I mean, like, look at hidden inventory. He's wearing Gojo down the entire time before he fights him because he doesn't even know if he can beat him or not. And then whenever he fights Geto, obviously, you know, he didn't want to get rid of he didn't want to kill him because he didn't want his curses to come out. And then whenever he's fighting Gojo the second time, he even thinks to himself in his head, he's like, why did I take this fight again? Like, it's more in character for me to have just run away because I'm not getting paid for this. He like took the fight for pride or whatever. So it's pretty consistent. Toji doesn't like trouble. So whenever Toji gets the idea that he can just take Kashimo out, that's more than likely what's going to happen. Now, if you want to talk about durability, how hard Kashimo hits versus how much Toji can take, Kashimo's lightning bolts and Nue's lightning bolts. So that's the comparison I'm going to make between 15 Finger Sukuna's Nue and Kashimo. I think 15 Finger Sukuna's Nue is much stronger than Kashimo. I think because of the way larger lightning blast, it makes sense that Nue is much stronger, especially given the fact that it's Sukuna and it has no bearing on the nerfed output because it's Nue's attack and not Sukuna directly doing the attack, like how Megami was lowering the output of his slashes. I think since Maki's able to take that, Maki equal to Toji's going to be able to take any of Kashimo's lightning bolts that he throws at him.
Yeah, I mean, it's also tough because even if you were to say the size scaling doesn't really matter, your next best argument would be to try to scale how strong the lightning bolts are shown to be relative to Toji and Maki's durability. In which case, I'm sorry for the 5 Hikari fans who've been upset here, but even Jackpot Hikari doesn't really have crazy durability feats. He kind of just takes some minor damage from Kashimo and his regular punches, and also just Kashimo grabbing doors and just swinging them and hitting him in the face. So the lightning bolts tearing through his body at every occurrence is not necessarily the greatest feat in the world. It's not to say that it's weak or anything. It's not to say that it wouldn't break through a lot of characters, but it is kind of hard to determine how strong that lightning bolt is, especially when the person we are comparing it to or looking at it to see how much damage it does. Toji in the anime takes, Megumi Nua's lightning bolt or whatever. He's fine. He doesn't really seem to have issue with it. And if you want to use anime scaling, he might actually just be able to react to it just based on how he turns his head and just looks at it or whatever. And in Maki's case, you see the massive Nue lightning bolt, and that's fine. That's whatever. That doesn't seem to bother him. The one argument I could see in Kashimo's favor, if you're trying to say that, is that Sukuna, even with how injured he was, deemed that last lightning bolt attack strong enough to transform for. Like, he was like, oh, I do not want to take this head on and without my new form. But even if you say that, yeah, that would have just like obliterated Sukuna if he took it head on. The problem is that Kashimo's already using Mythic Beast Amber at that point, and then that Kashimo is leagues above the one that fights in base and the one that would be fighting Toji and Maki. So Kashimo kind of also fights on turf that they like to fight on. He uses his staff. He mixes it in with some electricity or whatever, but like we said, it takes like 4 to 6 punches or interactions to land that. And I'm also just going to be real. Kashimo just happened to fight somebody that did not have very great attack potency. Like Six said, towards the end of the fight, he lands like a ton of punches on him or whatever. But Kashimo does not leave that fight with more damage than, I don't know, a bloody nose, blood coming from his mouth, and maybe some peeled skin from the heat of the water that he heated up by himself. Hikari, in terms of like actual damage, doesn't do that much. And if for some asinine reason you were going to say Hikari punches just as hard as Toji and Maki, which is ridiculous, by the way, but even if you were to say that, and you were to say that, oh, Kashimo could really just weather the storm, durability negating sword incoming, you know what I mean? It's just, I mean, if they're even relative, right? Even if you upscale Kashimo off of whatever feats that don't exist, you say that, oh, they're really close. It doesn't take much. It takes one wrong move. It takes one wild slash that removes an arm, that removes a leg, that removes his head. I mean, Toji has the answer to characters like Kashimo that want to get up close. And you'll see this when we talk about Sendai characters too, but like, there is a certain way of fighting that is just not conducive to going up against a heavenly restriction like Toji or Maki, especially when they're wielding anti-durability sword. It's really not good for him. It's really not good for him. Maybe you could have a different discussion if he was using his curse technique, but like we said time and time again, there is not a scenario, unless Toji changed his legal name to Sukuna and pulled the wool over Kashimo's eyes because he doesn't know what Sukuna looks like, it's not happening. Kashimo would rather die than use his curse technique, and in this instance, that is exactly what would happen.
Yeah, so that's all I had to say. I mean, Kashimo, I just think he's getting cooked. Like Ronan said, I mean, if he had his curse technique, yeah, you could have a different discussion. Maybe he did actually force Sukuna into his high nerve form, but I don't think so. I think he's getting cooked. So we can move on to Sendai Colony. Now, Druve. He's allegedly strong. Cause Druve conquered all of Japan one time. But then Yuta just cuts him in half. Like, how strong was Druve really? Like, if Yuta can cut him in half with a non-durability negating sword and with the largest cursed energy amount in the verse aside from Sukuna, can Toji not just walk over there and cut him in half?
Listen, bro, Druve conquered Japan when his competition was like dinosaurs or something, bro. Like, bro was not moving in any. There were no other strong sorcerers. Like, we saw. Okay, I'm gonna say something maybe slightly crazy, right? Druve gets by on his curse technique being like particularly useful against someone like Kurushi, right? But I would go so far as to say, based on what we saw, Kurushi gave base Yuta more trouble than Druve did. Now, maybe you could say that base Rika was helping, but I'm just gonna be honest. I didn't see Rika in the frame where he cut through Druve at all. And he cut through Druve like you cutting through butter. It wasn't this hard-fought battle that he just got finished doing. He walks into the Culling games, and it has to be quick enough to where Uro and Ishigori didn't notice Yuta before. He comes in, he cuts them down, the Shikigami disappear, and Uro and Ishigori are like, what the hell? What happened? Whereas when Yuta starts fighting Kurushi, they're commenting on it the whole way through because the fight is lasting long enough to actually have commentary. Yuta finished Druve off so fast that his immense cursed energy didn't even really register with them before. Yeah, Druve's getting cooked. I don't care what a Shikigami do, bruh. It doesn't matter because one, they constitute their own domain. That might not even work on Toji. If we're just calling a spade, like it just might not work. If it works in the way other domains do, it might not work. Let's say it does. I promise you, if Yuta was able to handle it without much damage, so is Toji. He's walking through, he's cutting him up, and he's just moving along. Kurushi time. It's not close.
But
it's
see,
not
the thing
close to the
is,
slightest.
like even if you don't think Yuta and Toji are similar in physicals, which come on now, but even if you don't, Yuta handled it without much difficulty, without being amped up. Like he said, they don't notice his huge cursed energy pool until a little bit later on. So, what makes you think that Druve would do anything significant to Toji? Nothing. I'm ranting like there's Druve fans.
Yeah. No, there are no Druve shooters.
Druve fans.
We are really like going to bat for, yeah, Jesus. Yeah, Druve gets cooked. Sorry, all the fans of Druve are bad.
All right, yeah. So Kurushi, okay. Kurushi, his festering life sword, that's actually a pretty good curse tool. The fact that it seemingly, I don't want to say it bypasses durability, but it's strong enough that it could barrel curses even into Yuta. I think that's pretty impressive. If that happens to Toji, I don't know if Heavenly Restriction Healing is getting past that.
Okay, put it like this, right? Maybe if you're not convinced, Yuta also is the guy that before this got hit with thin ice missile or whatever, and he kind of just like, okay, whatever. He also blocks Granite Blast with his hand, I think multiple times in Sendai Colony. Yep. But this, without any resistance, he gets caught and boom. They've just embedded themselves in his shoulder, and then he gets hit. He just hit with the combo. It actually, if Yuta did not have RCT, it would have gotten scary for him because that is not the kind of ability you can really heal from. Ishigori's looking at him like, yeah, it's over. Uro's like, yeah, it's over. And Uro, I think, probably has RCT. I think they hypothesize that she does. Even she looked at it as like, yeah, no, there are insects in your stomach. Yeah, you're cooked.
It's a little bit like iffy if Uro actually has RCT, because Ryu's like, well, if she does have it, healing an arm is a hell of a feat. So we don't really know, because I mean, right after that, she just gets dismissed. So we don't really know, but
for sure.
Like
regardless, yeah.
Kuroshi forces Yuta to use RCT in the first place, which he didn't want to do. And then aside from that, he did it when Yuta like clashed swords with him. So the festering life sword, it doesn't even have to land a hit on you in order to do that. Now, if he clashes swords with Toji, obviously the soul split katana is gonna cut it in half like butter. But yeah, it doesn't even need to land a hit on you in order to burrow the bugs into you. So yeah, I'm imagining Toji should just like go through, because if he sends out the giant swarms of cockroaches, Toji's gonna have to just avoid. He doesn't have any gigantic cursed energy waves like Yuta does. He's just gonna have to avoid. And then as soon as he sees As soon as he sees, oh, this is the thing that's causing it, he's gonna have to just go for Kuroshi and just try to cut him down as fast as possible.
The big thing too, though, is that the only reason Yuta gets put in that position is because when he slices, I think Kuroshi's earthen insects or whatever, they blow up in his face, and obviously he's less visibility. His reaction times are slower. He's in situations that he wouldn't normally be in. Blah blah blah. That just doesn't matter for Toji. It's just like, oh, I can't see. Whatever will I do? I'll just use my precog or whatever. So I mean, he might not even get in a position like that to where, okay, let's say that stuff does blow up in his face, literally. He can't see. Kuroshi's still not getting the jump on him. Toji's about to start, listen, bro, he's about to start tap dancing on the air in order to avoid Kuroshi's insects or whatever. Because that's another big thing that doesn't really get brought up. I think mainly because Toji doesn't use it all that much in his fights. But the maneuverability that he has is kind of ridiculous. He just doesn't have to deal with the insects in general. Unlike Yuta, who was pretty bent on keeping the civilians safe, Toji does not care. Let's be real. Oh no, everybody's gonna be in danger. Yeah, Toji's jumping over that, running to Kuroshi, cooking him. It's not even. It might just be over from that first slash that Yuta gets, because Yuta pretty much blitzes him a couple of times to where he's like, he cuts him up, he slams him under the bridge, and then goes and stabs him or whatever. And in those instances, whereas Yuta is attacking with things that are healable, it might not be the case with Toji and Soul Split. And if it is, like I said, he's not. I just don't see a future in which Toji is going to be that lackadaisical. Yuta's specifically attempting to hold back. He's specifically attempting to, not show his true cards, which might be not necessarily clouding his judgment, but just affecting how he fights in general, right? Yuta has his own one-shot ability, and when that is on the table, when Kuroshi shows back up, there is no hesitation in handling it. It's in Toji's case, even if you look at him as just a Yuta, but with a blade that one-shots Kuroshi, it's just a simple matter, as far as I'm concerned, at least.
Yeah. So, again, going real hard like there's Kuroshi fans. But moving on to the people who actually, people care about, Ryu and Uro. Now, a lot of people, because I'm so glad you brought it up earlier. I was going to bring it up here, but a lot of people are like, Toji can't get to Uro to, turn the curse technique off or whatever. Toji can literally airwalk. Like, he can air step. Like, he can use the air as a foothold to get up to Uro and do whatever he needs to do. Now, Uro is specifically strong, and she's specifically very durable, and a lot of people underrate her on it, and I really hate it. Uro got hit with curse speech, and then Yuta and Rika together barraged her with punches from both sides, and she took it. Keep in mind, we don't know if she has RCT. I don't think she does. She took that, and then immediately after, broke the curse tool that Yuta was using on her with an icebreaker. Uro is actually extremely durable. Now, that's obviously because Toji's hits, they're going to be very physically powerful just because nature of the heavenly restriction. That's going to, I think anyway, put Toji in a position where the Soul Split Katana is virtually necessary for dealing with Uro, especially if Ryu starts to jump in too, because Ryu is probably even more durable than Uro is. Like, Ryu's got he's got this explosive cursed energy, the highest output ever. So I don't think it's too far-fetched to say, yeah, he is more durable than Uro. So like, this puts Toji in a position where the Soul Split Katana, rather than being like, oh, if he wants to, he can. This puts him in a position where the Soul Split Katana is needed to deal with these opponents virtually, or at least get them dealt with in an efficient amount of time. So
yeah, otherwise he's just going to be punching him over and over, just wearing him down in a way that, once again, is very not Toji-like.
Yeah. So like, Toji, this the way I'm imagining, Toji airwalks up to Uro or whatever. If she happens to come up behind him after he deals with Kuroshi, he airwalks over to Uro. He's going to have to find a way, because she can obviously parry strikes, whatnot, with her sky manipulation. I don't think, because in Red Spirit Heaven, it should turn off a curse technique before it actually hits the person, because it turned off. It had to actually reach Gojo. I don't think she'll be able to parry a strike that's coming at her with the inverted spear of heaven. Now, someone who not only can see through curse techniques like Toji can because of his, his curse resistance and whatnot, but can see different movements in the atmosphere and actually like perceive the atmosphere and changes, should be able to notice that's what she's doing. And even if he doesn't, Oro literally just yapped to Yuta what her curse technique is in order to get the benefit that you get whenever the disclosure amp, whatever you want to call it. So Toji should be able to handle Oro that way, just using the inverted spear of heaven and then like a combination of soul split katana. What really makes the matchup interesting, just like Sendai Colony, is if Ryu jumps into the mix, how does he deal with both? Like, I don't imagine a Granite Blast would just immediately incapacitate Toji, but if he's turning off Oro's curse technique, what's to stop Ryu from just blasting her? Because that's why he wasn't doing it in the first place, right? So, I mean
the big thing to me is just that the Granite Blast is pretty reactable. Yuta does it. I'll say this, right? Yuta, the first time I think he gets hit directly with a Granite Blast, I mean, Yuta just kind of survives it. He is using RCT, but he doesn't have Jackpot Hikari, Gojo, or Sukuna levels of RCT, right? If he got his whole body incinerated, we probably would have gotten some indication that the damage was super duper extensive, but it wasn't really. Not to say he took no damage, he didn't no-sell it or tank it completely, but Yuta was more fine than he wasn't. And then Ishigori actually mentions like, oh shit, he actually palmed my Granite Blast with his bare hands. And obviously Yuta, very tanky, very durable guy. I would say that Toji and Maki also can definitely lay claim to being very tanky, very durable. So I don't think one or two Granite Blasts are taking them out the game for sure. Sukuna also seems to think pretty highly of Maki's durability. She comes back from a Black Flash, gets hit with another one, a cleave, multiple slashes, blah, blah, blah. Like, Toji and Maki, on attacks that aren't just obliterating them instantly or like removing limbs or basically a purple, I think they're going to be more fine than not. In the case of that, it's just about closing distance or taking advantage of, how should I put this? Taking advantage of any gaps that show. Because I honestly think one thing that would be really interesting to actually see is how does Toji's prior experience of fighting people that manipulate space, i.e. Gojo and the Limitless, how that interacts with how he perceives Uro. Because, going from person that can't be touched to, oh yeah, she counters me, but that's about it. She counters by like folding space and stuff like that. I honestly don't think Toji would be all that confused. We see he deals with blue pretty easily. The anime makes it even more clear where he's just like, oh, I'm getting dragged over here, getting dragged over there. That's fine. I'll just move faster than what you can perceive. I don't know if you necessarily disagree. I'm not saying Toji's perception blitzing Uro per se, but I will say airwalking plus his level of speed probably isn't making it easy for Uro. Where Ishigori comes in, I can see that being an issue, but I also don't know if I think that he's getting hit by too many. If he pulls a Yuta and he just basically runs up on him same way, do you think he handles him? Because I basically look at Ishigori as just Kashimo, but with higher output, specifically with Granite Blast as well.
I feel that.
I don't think it's that. He gets up close, and in the encounter in which Yuta and him like slam backs, yeah, Ishigori might be cooked. Or Toji might like, nah, bro. He might say some. Nah, I don't like touching guys, bro. Like Toji just gives me the vibe of somebody that would say something like that. Cut him up and keep it pushing. Inverted Spear of Heaven wouldn't have much usefulness here because Ishigori's Granite Blasts are just as strong without Curse Technique activation. We get a statement about that, which is, I'm not gonna lie, one of the weirdest things Gigi's put up there. Like, it was just like a really weird thing to note. But whatever, right? Soul Split is going to be the big thing. Also, I just didn't mention it because you were talking, but another thing is the Chain of 1,000 Miles plus Inverted Spear combo is an extra thing that could help when fighting against Uro. Even if he couldn't jump on air, I think that would also be nice to just be able to use that. He was pretty confident in using that against Gojo when he could fly. Before he noticed that Hollow Purple was a thing, he was like, all right, cool. I'll just, I can use this from far, and I can also bring it back quick enough to protect me from any damage. I think that is also a weapon combo that, just due to the nature of Gojo using purple, he doesn't get to show off all that much, but it would definitely help out.
Yeah. I mean, Ryu, like, I kind of do view Ryu kind of the same way, like Kashimo, but with higher durability. I'm a little bit more impressed with Ryu just because I think Ryu is fighting a stronger battle than what Kashimo is fighting, not including Sukuna, just, against Hikari. But the thing about Ryu with, him having that crazy durability, the soul split just sort of takes care of that. Like, Ryu has this crazy durability, but Yuta didn't have his sword when he fought Ryu. His sword got handled whenever he was fighting with Kururushi, and I think that Yuta's sword would have made a giant difference in the fight. I mean, it's just more AP that he could have versus Ryu, and I mean, this sword specifically. I mean, why wouldn't it be a gigantic help against someone like him? And this is also a fight where, like, domain expansion is the wrong move. Like, this isn't what you should do when you're up
and they
against
wouldn't know
like
that.
Toji.
They would have no idea, because even if they're like, oh, he has no cursed energy, this is weird. Now you knew that Maki had no cursed energy, idolized Toji, and still had no idea that opening a domain would lead to basically Maki not being caught within it and also being able to ignore the sure hit. So there's no reason to believe that your average sorcerer knows about how they interact with domains, because let's be real, how many times do you really think Ishigori and Uro have ever encountered someone like Toji and Maki? My guess, none. So they're like opening a domain, they're expending all of that curse energy. Oh my god, bro, Toji's too quick, he's moving too much, that damn soul split. First of all, if they've seen it, gotten hit by it and didn't die, that's crazy. But let's say they did, right? Whatever, it's a glancing blow. They open the domains, Uro's technique's now burned out, Toji's taking advantage, easy. And then Ishigori, sure, his technique isn't lessened, but he just expanded a domain and lowered his cursed energy reserve significantly. He's going into that fight a different Ishigori, with no upside, by the way, a different Ishigori than when he came out. And, like, even Kurushi joining back, I mean, that's just a non-factor. He comes back to get killed again, who cares? I honestly think that once Toji realizes, I honestly think it would be something sort of akin to how Sukuna fought Ishigori, where Toji's gonna punch against him. He's like, all right, bro, we not doing this. I'm not hitting you 1,000 times for you to go down. He's pulling out Soul Split, and then he's hitting him with that blitz through, cutting his head off, cutting him in half. Whatever you think Toji would do in character, that's kind of how I perceive it, because I also don't view Toji as the type to deal with it. When Geto brought out his most durable curse, Toji instantly brought out Soul Split and then just cut through it and then puts it away, because, hey, dealing with durable stuff, I don't care. Don't want to. I'm good off that. And that just seems like very much in Toji's character.
And then another thing about the domain is, like, Maki and Toji, since they don't get trapped immediately, they can, like, sort of load into domains. It's really weird, but versus Naoya, Maki's already stabbing Naoya while she's not all the way in the domain. Like, her left leg hasn't completely loaded in yet. It looks really weird, but that's the case. So, like, they bring the domains out. That might be the wrong move on two fronts. Like, not only can you not touch Toji with the domain, but now he's able to hit you and you don't know anything about it. There's no way for you to perceive it. And he's not even completely in your domain yet.
One of the craziest things I think Toji would do as well is he would let them open the domain. He would let them fight in the domain. And he would just, whoever wins, he would just fight. That's actually some Toji shit in my head. Yeah. Like, oh, they opened the domain. Oh man, Uro and Ishigori are fighting. They're gonna be like, what the hell? But they're gonna have to fight each other. I mean, they're not allies, right? Open that domain, fight it out. Say Ishigori wins, say Uro wins. Who cares, right? Whoever lost, all right, cool, you lost. Now he's just fighting a super weakened Ishigori or Uro, and we already basically expressed how we feel he fights them at full power, 1-on-1 and 2-on-1, and we basically give the Toji the advantage there. Imagine just Toji just sitting back like, all right, bro, I'll wake me up when the domain shuts down. I'll clock back in then or something. There's just so many options for Toji in a scenario like this, in which it just does not end well for either of them. It doesn't end well for Sendai Colony in general.
Yeah, so I mean that's pretty much it. Like Tokyo Colony #1, Tokyo Colony #2, Sendai Colony. Like we could go over Sakurajima, but Maki was already there. Toji.
Let's be real, bro. Naoya is getting. I mean, he's a curse at this point, but he's still somehow getting on his hands and knees, bro. He's just he's just not my glorious king Toji. It's not happening, bro. And
even if he does decide to fight him, he's not evolving.
Yeah,
like he's never getting past worm stage.
Yeah, and Toji wouldn't allow that anyway. Like, it's just really bad. You know what's so crazy? That point where Maki looks up at Naoya and is like, oh, he would have reached him. Yeah, that's what we would literally see. Naoya jumps up there to get away, and then Toji's like, I don't know why you thought that was going to work. But it doesn't, it won't. And there's just not any colonies that we've seen in which I think that Toji would have any issue. I'm not even sure if there are any players in general, like that are not on the good guy squad, that would even warrant too much conversation in general. Not even. I mean, we've been talking for like 40 minutes, so obviously some of them warrant conversation. But I more mean that you can make a very serious case beat Toji more often than they don't.
Yeah. The only other like important heavy hitting guy in there is like Kenjaku, but then with Kenjaku he can like sneak up on him. Like Yuta's like, well, Maki could have did what I did.
Exactly.
I just wanted to kill him myself.
You could also say like maybe Yorozu, although she wasn't really in any particular colony where she fought, but hot take, I don't think Yorozu's giving Toji all that much trouble either.
Yeah. Like Yorozu, she's strong, but Inverted Spirit Heaven should get rid of like, her cursed
everything.
Yeah.
True Sphere is whatever, because without the sure hit imbued on it, it's just gonna be kind of all right, another attack to dodge, I guess. And her baser ability just sucks. So
yeah. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
so,
what would happen if Toji were in the Culling games? He would dominate. That is what would happen.
And until he got to Shinjuku with Sukuna and Gojo, there he would die.
Then bro's getting flashbacks to his last life. He's like, you know what? You gotta know. He can't make the same mistake twice, bro. Because he's gonna see a 200% hollow purple and realize, wow, I'm not built for this. Yeah.
Because I'm gonna run this time. I'm gonna get it this time. But yeah, obviously, go subscribe to Broken Ronin's channel. He makes a lot of good videos.
Appreciate you having me on here, man. We definitely have some collabs on our channel talking about Crossverse, JJK, Inverse, stuff like that. So yeah, definitely check that out. Appreciate you having me on, man. I'm sure we'll get some more collabs on both of our channel coming soon too.